let's dive right into it. So, in this video, I want to talk about trauma, I guess. The reason I want to talk about trauma is because I'm currently writing a blog post that has to do with an inability to see yourself clearly. This inability to see yourself clearly specifically comes from being blinded by the projections of trauma and insecurities that other people give to you. And as I've expressed many times in the past, I'm very fascinated at how often projections are happening, because they are happening even more often than many people might realize. One's own capacity to see clearly when someone is projecting is crucial, because if you don't see it clearly, you're going to have a very challenging time differentiating between what is your shit and what is someone else's shit. And if someone's trying to give you their shit and you don't have the capacity to see that what they're giving you is actually their shit and it has nothing to do with you, you're going to end up literally here. And the younger you are, the more challenging it is, because you're in such a vulnerable state that you have no idea what the fuck is going on. And I was telling my sweetheart about this not too long ago. When you're in such a vulnerable state and you have no idea what's going on, you know, you're looking for, you know, that you're looking for love, safety, and belonging. You just take everything on, right? Like you're just like you're looking to everyone because you're looking for that love, safety, and belonging, but you sacrifice your authentic frame. You sacrifice your own, you know, you let down your boundaries, or you don't even have, at that point in your life, you probably don't even know what boundaries are, right? So you just end up taking on everyone else's shit, right? And at some point in your life, you know, something probably happens, or something probably happened that led you to believe that you were a disgraceful piece of shit, right? For lack of a better word, unworthy. You know, something happened that led you to believe that you were just unworthy. You know, maybe you were abandoned, whether physically or emotionally, right? You were taught a belief that you were not worth showing up for. You really can't live life fully if you don't fully see yourself. I like that. You can't live life fully unless you fully see yourself. And you're not going to either. If what you see as being yourself is someone who is unworthy, but you don't realize that that's actually just a belief that you grew up conditioned with based on, abandonment, for instance, right? So you grew up with a belief that you were unworthy, but based on abandonment, right? Somebody else abandoned you. And then you were led to believe that they abandoned you because you just weren't worthy. But no. They abandoned you because they have their own shit. Right? So that clouds you. That creates an illusion in terms of how you see yourself. And it really messes things up, because it's not at all accurate. It's not. There's absolutely zero accuracy there, because, you know, think about it. When you're very young, when you have, you know, nothing but, I don't know, wonder and curiosity, and you literally have no clue of what's going on, how could you possibly be unworthy? So this idea of unworthiness is very interesting to me, because trauma tends to be the painter of that, right? There's zero accuracy there. It's not even remotely close to being anything of truth. It's just a picture that's been painted for you based on these things that have happened, right? These traumatic events, somebody leaving you, you know, whatever it is. All of a sudden you're not worthy of good things. No, it's just not even close to being accurate. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and how they decide to treat you based on all that stuff. So kind of just like, seeing it for what it is. That's literally what this whole journey of, waking up from trauma and stuff is, just seeing clearly everything that happened, why it happened, and realizing, oh well, that actually never had anything to do with me, so I don't have to carry that around. That's really how this works. That's it. It's very simple. And in my own experiences with, dealing with trauma, exploring trauma, healing trauma, like I've had actual sessions where, like, I have, like, physically, with actual movement, like, kind of, I worked with this idea where it was like, all right, trauma trauma is inside of these boxes. I'm going to take these boxes, all these dusty, moldy, cobwebbed boxes that I was given from somebody else, and I'm going to give them back. Trauma and projections, they're kind of like gifts, but they I like how this works, because so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Trauma is a gift because it blinds you for a while until you see again, right? Trauma, as an example, abandonment. You learn a belief that you are unworthy, so therefore, in order to be worthy, you learn to do for everyone else, right? You learn to become somebody and to do things specifically for everyone else, right? It's a gift in two ways. It's a gift because somebody is trying to give you something of theirs that is not yours to take, and if you mistake it as yours, it messes you up. But it's also kind of like, think about projections. When people try to give you their shit, think about projections as gifts that you do not have to accept, right? And when you see it clearly, like, actually, no, that's your shit, not mine, and I'm not going to take it, so you don't even think about giving it to me. Just, take it back, leave with it, and that's it. But it's also a gift in the sense that, I think that if I was never traumatized, I would never have kind of been on a quest. I think that that's a good word. I was going to use, like, I would have never sought all these answers that I look for, but I like the word quest better, because quest kind of entails to me, like, this idea of, I don't know, pursuit of something greater. And the things that have traumatized me, the ideas, the beliefs, the conditioning that I've carried around for so long, they've molded me in such a specific way that I would argue kind of limited me, actually, right? And it's kind of like this, right? You know how there's, like, when you see, like, something being, like, catapulted, right? Trauma, I feel, kind of like pulls you back, it keeps pulling you back, and then it pulls you back until you see yourself clearly. Without the trauma, you see, like, oh wow, like, none of this was ever me, none of this ever had anything to do with me. And then finally, when you open those eyes widely and you see clearly, that's when it releases and you go fucking like a, just flying. And that is a very interesting experience, because for me, like, I personally realized that if the things